everyone. Welcome back to Speak Now Pro Wrestling. It is Monday, June 23rd. It's your girl, Denise Salcedo, joined by Santi Zap, and we are here to chat Monday Night Raw. Santi, first and foremost, how are you?
Denise, I want you right now to sit down and just listen to what I have to say, because I am here to thank God for Karrion Kross getting on a premium live event. You have been a denier. You have been a naysayer. You have been all up against Karrion Kross. It might have taken a war in the Middle East for it to finally happen, but Karrion Kross is on a WWE Premium Live event, and I am here to spread the word, spread the joy, spread the cheer that Karrion Kross has manifested himself a major match at a Premium Live event. No matches on Monday Night Raw for like 7 months. That's fine. Just right to a PLE. That's what we get with Karrion Kross.
Okay, look, now that you're the town crier out here spreading the news, okay, fine. You know what? I'm happy for Karrion Kross. I mean, when is the last time we saw him on Monday Night Raw? I have no idea, like an actual matchup, no idea. But I am happy that he finally got this match with Sami Zayn. Look, it finally happened. Good. There had to be a payoff to this at some point, because if there wasn't, I would have been fed up with this already. I was getting kind of tired of these backstage segments where he would go up to Sami, and Sami was acting like if Karrion Kross was some big bad bully trying to take away his lunch money. I'm glad, first of all, that Sami actually punched him in the face, because I was starting to think that Sami Zayn didn't have a backbone there for a second. I was starting to worry.
Got him, said Karrion Kross. Put that on the t-shirt.
You know what, though? I'm not even gonna lie, though. I don't think Karrion Kross nor Sami was the star of the segment.
Oh, of course. It's always Scarlett.
It was Scarlett.
Scarlett.
Did you see her top that she was wearing today with the spikes everywhere, and then the really cool shirt Karrion Kross had of Scarlett?
I that is not what I would have noticed. You're talking to you're just talking to a dude right now.
All right. Well, but next time if anybody did notice, I'm sure maybe some of you guys did not, but Scarlett had this really great top. It was maroon. I think it was maroon. It had all these spikes on.
Denise, if you put a gun to my head and told me what was her shirt color, her top, not in a million years would I be able to tell you.
Okay, fine. Did you even notice Karrion Kross's t-shirt?
No.
Shut up. Okay, Karrion Kross had a t-shirt of Scarlett, but it was really cool. The artwork was almost like a pinup slash, it kind of had like pinup slash like loteria vibes. I can't really explain it. Like that was kind of like the art of it. And the thing I was talking to him that I kind of wish is that I wish they made a shirt like that for like all the girls, because that was a really cool shirt. So yeah, I was actually looking, I was actually paying attention.
All right. Hey, W shirt in the chat, fellas.
Anyways, all right, well, let's go ahead and get into that. Night of Champions has turned out to be, I don't even know if turned out's the right word. I think we kind of all anticipated this, and it only got progressively worse in the last couple of days. So Night of Champions, people have been talking about it all over social media, in the WWE circles, of course, and whatnot, because of everything going on right now in the Middle East. People were wondering, hey, is WWE still going to do this event in Saudi Arabia? What the hell is going to go on? And as of right now, where we're at with all of this is that both Night of Champions and Friday Night SmackDown is still looking like it's going to go as scheduled. Donald Trump has basically posted that on all sides, Israel, Iran, and the U.S. have all agreed to a ceasefire. So in theory, that's basically, in theory would end the danger for right now. But of course, when it comes to stuff like this, you really can't predict what may or may not happen. So it's still a very, very scary situation to be in for the talent. And from the looks of it, earlier today, it basically came out that a lot of the crew members were already over there, and a lot of them were already stuck in the airport and could not leave and had to be there because of everything going on. Now, the talent will be leaving tomorrow and Wednesday. So again, this is one of the situations where you're hoping for the best. But Santi, what has been your thought process seeing all of this, obviously on the wrestling side, given that, hey, it's a very scary situation to be sending the talent and the crew and everybody over right now to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, it's also minute by minute. What we're talking about right now, within an hour or two, could legitimately be old news. We don't know where things are going to go. They've announced a ceasefire, but it's like a 6-hour gap window before the ceasefire officially begins. Maybe something happens in between there. I don't know. All right. These are geopolitical conversations that are so above my head. But all I can really say is if there is an inkling, a 1% chance of danger for the WWE talent, then they should just not go there. That's my opinion. Maybe they're getting assurances, extra protection. I don't know. Again, I'm not privy to any of those conversations or how something like this might go down. I would like to assume that TKO would not prioritize doing the show over the health and safety of their talent and the crew and the fans live in attendance. I want to imagine that. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt at least. I'm not surprised ultimately that the show is still kind of pushing forward, but again, things could change literally in an hour, tomorrow, Friday, day of the show, who knows, because it's such a minute by minute situation that's happening over there.
Yeah, part of me is, it's weird because part of me is not surprised that they went through with the show regardless, because even, as a couple of hours ago, we still hadn't heard about the ceasefire or anything like that. I thought that by the point where we were at as of this morning, I would have hoped that they had a plan B situation and that they would have honestly just executed that plan B situation, because it's not like they knew, for a fact that, hey, the ceasefire was going to happen. And even then, like you said, this is a situation where it can change. Like, these are very serious matters that are beyond the scope of pro wrestling, that are beyond the scope of anything that we normally talk about here on the channel. And so it is very scary. It's a very dangerous situation. And, you just got to hope for the best at this point. But I was hoping that they would just go with the plan B and say, hey, you know what? We don't want to risk it. And we can do a show in a million other places, right? And I know I know this is completely short notice, but hey, these things are possible where you can find a suitable plan B and go about it that direction. But it looks like they just, pulled through. And as of right now, it's going on as promised, and it's been promoted heavily on Monday Night Raw. And that's where we're at with this. So hoping for the best for everybody. All right. I want to go ahead and get into what we got here because we got quite a bit that we got to get into. All right. So let me hold on. Let me see where we're at here. We got Saif Den Super here who says, hi, these Seth Rollins promos are literal death, worse than Triple H 2003. Show picked up once Gunther cut a promo through the main event, but just death. All right. So let's start there. We did get a Seth Rollins promo, and Santi, he mentioned you, he mentioned me, he mentioned Saif Dan Super. He mentioned every single person on this stream. That is how many mentions Seth Rollins had of people that he was calling out. And basically, he just addressed a couple of people, ran down some of that history, said he was a visionary, and that's where we're at. I didn't love the Seth Rollins promo, but I thought, hey, you know what? Unfortunately, I'm usually not a big fan of Seth Rollins promos, so I didn't know if it was just a me thing, or did you feel the same way, or did you feel opposite?
No, I think we have some similarities in terms of how I felt. I didn't think it was a bad promo. It just felt like a promo for somebody whose plans haven't started yet. They have clearly big things planned for Seth Rollins, but they aren't starting yet. I feel like they're going to start closer to SummerSlam. That's going to be, a big program for the WWE. But right now, Seth Rollins is just sort of in a hamster wheel, doing kind of the same thing over and over again, probably until his big major feud can actually properly start, which I'm presuming is going to be LA Knight. He just sort of feels like he's on standstill until maybe post Night of Champions. Then we can maybe get a little bit more substance here from the Seth Rollins character and a little bit further movement towards his motivations. But here's the thing, in my opinion, even once the LA Knight feud starts, that's not what I want to get out of this Seth Rollins. We all know what we want. We want the feud with Roman. We want a world championship run. Like that to me, like when Seth wins that world championship, when he cashes in the Money in the Bank briefcase, that to me will be the real start of Seth Rollins's heel run. That's when I think will be, I feel like we're in the prequel, basically. Like we're still just setting up pieces. And once that cash in happens, I think we'll say, okay, we're here. We've arrived. The Seth Rollins heel run is properly started. So right now it does sort of feel like we're just sort of kicking a can down the road until we get to the inevitable real start to this run.
Yeah, because after WrestleMania and Raw after Mania, this was the biggest thing, right? That everybody was talking about. Seth Rollins' new faction, and oh my gosh, now Braun Breaker's in this, Bronson Reed is in this, and just everything that's come about from that. And now you mentioned this pause is what it feels like. When you said, oh, you know, the right now, obviously he addressed LA Knight, so we know that that's been brewing for a little bit. This does not feel like the big thing though. And it doesn't feel like the big thing because WWE hasn't really done much with LA Knight and the buzz that he had for a while. And so that has sort of mellowed out to the point where, like you said, the person we're waiting for is Roman Reigns. And it feels a little bit weird right now that Roman Reigns has really not yet been seen. He hasn't really been heard from. We don't really know what's going on. I know he's got other things going on, you know, outside of WWE. Clearly, Roman Reigns is a very busy man. We know that. But it feels that how important this whole thing was, we need to continue matching that because right now, what's the real big, like, honestly, think about it. What's the real big feud besides John Cena and CM Punk for the men?
I think probably the next biggest one is probably like Solo Jacob.
And even then, that's not like there's a couple steps down. It's a big gap, exactly.
Sure.
And us, you know, as big a fan as we are of all those guys, sure.
Gunther, Goldberg, how are we just going to disparage this?
I'm not, but I don't see that on the same kind of level of everything else.
It isn't. It isn't on the same level as everything else. Right now, everything is several stories below the importance of John Cena, CM Punk. Right now, for sure.
Yeah, so that's kind of, I'm looking at this and going, this is not what this should be. Considering that Seth Rollins was the most talked about thing coming off of WrestleMania, we need to keep that going. We need to keep making sure that that feels strong and alive. But yeah, I wasn't that big of a fan of this promo, but that's where we were essentially at with this, though. What I was a fan of, though, is what we saw between Bron Breakker and Penta here tonight with Bron Breakker defeating Penta. The best part, of course, was one, when Penta hit him with the Canadian Destroyer. That was great because Bron Breakker is such a pretty big guy. And then two, when Bron Breakker actually speared Penta after Penta had springboarded like off the second rope, and he ends up finding just like this mid-air spear collision from Bron. That was freaking cool. So for the most part, this was a fun match.
I thought the match was fantastic. I think up until Jay and Cody, which I ended up really liking. I thought there was a lot of drama there. I thought that Penta versus Bron Breakker was the best match of the night. They had just such great chemistry with one another. I also just thought it was kind of cool, even though clearly Penta is not to the level of Seth Rollins kind of guy. It's kind of cool to see Penta in the same kind of gravitational pull as somebody of the name of a Seth Rollins. One of the things that I said in my chat, it's so funny that we're talking about this at the very beginning of the stream. I said, hey, we haven't really talked about how WWE hasn't actually screwed up Penta. And that's kind of surprising. I really thought that they were going to screw him up completely, and they haven't screwed him up. And it's kind of cool that he's having a moment, a micro feud with somebody the likes of Seth Rollins. I just don't feel like in previous regimes, the guy with the mask from Mexico would have gotten the same level of I guess presentation and added into main event programs. It just wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I do like that too. The one thing that I was trying to think of though, after Money in the Bank, I felt like there hadn't really been that much going on with Penta. So I was glad that they even booked this match with him and Bron Breakker here today. I did enjoy that. And the other thing that we saw with Penta today was he also attacked Chad Gable backstage, which we know Chad Gable and him have a lot of history now at this point in WWE. They've had multiple matches against each other, but also, I mean, I think they got to keep doing stuff like this with Penta. I love that confrontation he had with Chad. Of course, Chad was, getting annoying being in his face, and Penta basically taught him a lesson. But going back to that thing with Seth Rollins and Penta, I love this because Seth was trying to tell, basically Seth was trying to scare him. And I thought, bro, this is the guy that has cero miedo. He's not afraid of anything. So I kind of want to see that play out. I want to see Penta really show them, like, hey, I'm not afraid of you or your guys. Like, I don't give a damn.
No, I'm down for that. I hope it leads to Penta versus Seth Rollins. It's a match Penta is going to lose, but I still want to see that.
But it'll be good, though, because that's the thing, though. Regardless of how I feel about Seth Rollins' promos, I love Seth Rollins as a wrestler. I always think his matches are fun. And the reason why I like Seth Rollins' matches, Santi, is because he has really good pacing in his matches, where there's not a lot of downtime. There's not a lot of down periods. And I'm the person that gets, easily bored if we start, slowing shit down. I like things to feel a little bit more fast-paced. And so Seth Rollins in there with Penta, who also, works at a pretty decent pace. Just seeing both of those guys together, I think could make for a really good matchup.
I agree entirely.
We got Rahu P here who says Asuka versus Iyo. Please, God, let it happen. All right, well, let's go ahead and get right into that. This basically everything that went down with the Queen of the Ring tournament pretty much went down very early on in the show. So we had Jade Cargill defeat Roxanne Perez. Now, for the most part, I think we knew this was going to happen, Santi. I think you and I spoke about Jade Cargill looking like she was the one that was going to win this tournament. A part of me did wonder if Liv Morgan getting injured at all was going to mess any of this up, but it didn't. So Jade Cargill wins. We'll talk about the match in just a second, but she did have a confrontation with Asuka, who Asuka defeated Alexa Bliss. So now we know it's going to be Jade versus Asuka in the finals, Night of Champions, and the winner will go on to face, whomever they want as the champion, right? The respective champion of their brand. And backstage, we had a confrontation between Asuka and Iyo. Now, this is a dream match that a lot of people have been wanting to see. Two of these girls that can just go to town. Santi, I know Iyo is your favorite, and Asuka is a damn great professional wrestler. Do you prefer to see this outcome where we end up with Asuka versus Iyo, or do you prefer to see the situation, the outcome with Jade Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton?
Just want to point something out. We had a full Raquel Rodriguez promo and brawl with Rhea Ripley. Get 10 minutes of TV time, and Iyo Sky, our women's world champion, can hardly get 30 seconds during a commercial break. That was a commercial break segment. All right. Just remember that. All right. So because of that, even though they're already laying down the seeds for Asuka versus Iyo, one of the things that I've had to just sort of come to the realization is that if it happens in commercial break, it doesn't mean anything until it actually manifests itself on the non-commercial break edition of the show. Look at everything they did with Ludwig Kaiser. We thought he was going to get a Mania match, all of these moments on commercial break during Monday Night Raw, and now he's relegated to appearing in the background today for the first time in months during the Chad Gable Penta segment. So because that happened on commercial break, it leads me to believe that they have no intention of having Asuka win this thing. They could still be very well going towards Asuka Iyo Sky. You can get there naturally without Asuka winning the Queen of the Ring tournament, but I feel it in my gut, in my loins, everywhere. Jade's winning this.
Yeah, I think that was kind of where I was at with this from the beginning. So I kind of hope that it was funny because when I was looking at the King of the Ring and the Queen of the Ring brackets, I was most excited for the Queen of the Ring. I thought that the King of the Ring felt a lot more predictable. I wasn't as excited about it. And it's funny because I feel like most of my predictions for the King of the Ring have been right because it was so predictable. And most of my opinions beside the winner the only thing I may get right in this whole predictions thing for the Queen of the Ring may actually be the winner. But all of the other people that I thought were going to make it along in the tournament, I was wrong about. But that's where we're at, though, with the talent and the pool of women performers that we have here in this tournament, that this one was definitely harder to just lay out. But I do think they got something there with Asuka and Iyo. They know that, or else we wouldn't have seen this backstage happen. So I do want to take a second, though, and talk about the Jade Cargill Roxanne Perez match, though, because one of my favorite things, Roxanne is in my top 5 favorite WWE women. I just think she's so freaking talented, such a great wrestler. But I've said this before, I really love Roxanne Perez, especially when she works with girls that are a lot bigger than her in size, because even though Roxanne is a small, petite performer, she fights big. She's got big girl energy when she goes into the ring. And I thought she gave Jade Cargill a hell of a match. I loved the entire match. I didn't love the finish. The finish looked a little bit like wonky, mainly because Jade Cargill's pump kick didn't necessarily land too well on Roxanne. And then it kind of just seemed like there was a little bit of indecision towards the end. But the actual matchup, I definitely enjoyed, especially because it felt like Roxanne was just, someone made a joke that Roxanne was basically handling this mountain of a woman during the match. And that's really what we saw there. But Santi, Jade, Roxanne, did this do anything for you?
I thought the match was okay, and then the finish kind of like soured me on it. I wasn't I'm not gonna walk out wanting to rewatch this match. Basically, it's like, okay, we got through it. It's Roxanne Perez. Yeah, she's got a bright future, but right now it's clearly the Jade Cargill train. I know it's like the most simple, obvious choice to go with, but that's just kind of been WWE's MO, especially these days. Just going with what is more of a known commodity for them. And I just didn't think that WWE would go with something like Roxanne Perez versus Asuka. I don't think that was anywhere going to be in their plans. Maybe the fact that I was so certain that Jade Cargill was going to win, maybe that kind of spoiled the match a little bit for me in terms of being like heavily invested in it. But then I don't think that the performers did that great of a job at getting me back into it, especially the finish. The finish was really awkward, really slow. I don't know who missed her cue or what, but like it kind of took me out of the reality of the match there for a second.
You couldn't, I think what it was is also you couldn't buy Jade Cargill defeating Roxanne with that particular, how it turned out for the finish. I think had she nailed the pump kick, had she got him right into her finisher, I think that would have felt a lot more solid. And that's the disconnection I had. So I hope that I don't have that same disconnection if she defeats Asuka, because we know Asuka is just, way stronger wrestler than Jade is. So I feel like that is going to be the challenge when you see Jade and Asuka, is can you buy that Jade can successfully out wrestle and defeat Asuka? That's a tall glass to fill right there. So I hope that match does turn out a little bit better. And obviously Asuka will carry Jade for that. So I do have hope. I do have faith in Asuka. And I did think that Roxanne did a fine job with her today. But yeah, of course, there's just the ending was just a little bit weird there. But I should mention this now though, because you mentioned earlier the Rhea Ripley confrontation with her and Raquel that is going to lead to a street fight between both girls. But afterwards, we did see Roxanne Perez come in and have Raquel's back. And as unfortunately today we learned that Liv Morgan is going to be out for 7 months, and she is a half of the women's tag teams champion. So it's looking like Roxanne is definitely going to be the one filling in, especially since we saw a little bit of bonding there with Raquel and Roxanne.
Yeah, I think it's just a natural pivot. I don't think that they need to overthink this. It's right there, you were not that you were heading down that direction anyway, but like you can, when eventually Liv comes back, you can pick up the story a lot more organically. If Roxanne Perez has integrated herself like deeply within the Judgment Day, then you can just kind of pick it right back up. I'm glad that they're not abandoning this. I was a little bit nervous, like, damn it. This was going to be a huge driving force of Roxanne's push on the main roster. And with Liv gone, I was a little bit nervous about it. I still don't think that we're going to see Roxanne hit the same levels of push within the main roster as quickly had Liv Morgan been there. I feel like we would have gotten like a big match, SummerSlam match. I don't know that any of those are actually going to happen for Roxanne Perez anymore, because they put so much into the future Roxanne Liv feud that now we won't get for until 2026.
Oh no. Do you think by her being tag team champs with Raquel, given that the women's tag team division is practically non-existent, do you think that she's going to be sucked into that vortex where she really
100%.
doesn't do much?
I'm so confident she's going to get sucked into that vortex, sadly.
Oh no, I hope not. I hate to say this, but I almost hope it just I hate to say the P word, the prop. I almost hope that it's just a prop and we still see Roxanne Perez still do her thing. But I mean, come on, like there's no really other tag teams in the women's
But
division.
here's the thing. You say to do her thing. Her thing was the Liv Morgan storyline.
Yeah.
That was her thing. Now there is no thing right now. You would have
But
to
they can find a thing, Santi. They can find it.
They can find a thing, but like they can't find a thing, I don't think, this quickly that is like, oh my goodness, yeah, we got to get Roxy on SummerSlam, for example. I think that her ticket to SummerSlam was Liv Morgan.
If we can find Ludwig Kaiser today like he's freaking Waldo, if we can get Karrion Kross a match for a Night of Champions on a PLE after he hasn't wrestled in God knows how long on the show, we can find Roxanne Perez a thing that doesn't make her get sucked into the women's tag team vortex. That's how I feel. All right, we got Victorio here who says, Santi, diva, clap, 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 clap. We got Infamous Raider Loco who says, Denise goes Raw. You guys be prepared. Wait, what? Wait,
so
that
Denise, you needed to read that much faster. You paused at the worst possible moment in that sentence. Just want to clarify. You needed to keep reading right through that.
All right, I'm sorry. Okay, let me reread it from the beginning. Denise goes Raw. You guys be prepared. Wait, that didn't make it better. Oh, wow. Here. If you love Raw, Blue Chew, promo code Denise, go Raw all night. Yeah, it was a Monday Night Raw. Hey, what do you got to do? What can I say? Blue Chew, promo code Denise, please.
Remember, Denise goes Raw, ladies and gentlemen.
Vanessa Vasquez says, sicker than a dog, but nothing like a Denise and Santi Rob post show for a pick-me-up. Love ya. Vanessa, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. And if you want to make sure that you got a pick-me-up, Blue Chew, promo code Denise. I had to. Sorry, the opening was right there.
Hey, listen. If you're shilling dick pills to the correct audience, Denise. You keep doing your thing. You keep doing your thing.
Vanessa, I hope you feel better. Seriously. We got Liv and Rox here who says bad booking relates to women. Jade winning to Telegraphed. She had 2 backstage segments talking about the tourney. She's heading towards Naomi. Rox had 0 promos, interviews, and no hints with Iyo. I guess you know what? I don't blame you on this being too telegraphed. I get it because we're all sitting here going, it's going to be Jade and Jade is going to win. And a lot of it has to do with her and those backstage segments, basically talking about her being Queen of the Ring. And everything with Naomi. So maybe you're right. Maybe it is too telegraphed. I don't know. Do you think it is, Santi?
This year was definitely super telegraphed. I compared to last year where we had like Lyra go to the final and we're like, what the hell?
Oh yeah,
that was not telegraphed at all. That was like genuinely shocking. Her beating Iyo in like that roll-up sequence in the semifinal when we were all certain it was going to be Iyo. So there was definitely a lot more unpredictability last year than there was this year. So yeah, there was definitely a lot telegraphed for sure.
We got Terrence Matthews here who says, I heard a rumor that Roman Reigns is playing Akuma right now, filming a live Street Fighter film. I hadn't seen that, but you know what? I did get an email the other day where they were promoting, I forgot what it was, and Roman Reigns is on that. So maybe I should have read that 2 times because that might be the thing you're talking about, or it might be something else. So either way, I'll look into that because I might be confusing it with something else. Thank you so much, Terrence. We got Liv and Rox here who says, another bad booking bit with Rox. Why would there be 0 interference from Judgment Day after Finn hyped her up? That's right. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to think right now because Finn has been... Did you notice, by the way, that Finn has been trying, it looks like he's trying to like hook up Dominic and Roxanne Perez today in that backstage segment. He was giving Dominic Mysterio the O-Hos. And then also Dominic had a promo today on a commercial break as well with Jackie Redmond. And I have a question for you on that. Sorry, totally off, maybe not too off topic, but how do you feel about the fact that at WrestleMania, everybody was cheering and rooting for Dominic Mysterio like he was the world's ultimate babyface. And now we're back to booing Dominic Mysterio like never before.
I don't know. I would disagree. I kind of felt like the boos were forced. Like Dominic was trying so hard with like the pauses to try and get more boos. I still think like when you go back to like his recent matches, he's the crowd favorite still. So I don't know that that's a very indicative way to see whether or how the crowd feels about Dom in a promo where he was obviously goading boos out of people.
Okay, I see what you mean, because I was just trying to think to myself, like, okay, it feels like we skipped a part. It felt like the crowd was wanting to go in a certain direction, but they were like, no, we're not ready to go in that direction. Like, we still got to go in we're still going to stick to him being a heel. Like, that's where we're going to stick to. And that's honestly what it felt like to me. Like, we were just trying, like, they didn't want to move forward with him being a babyface. Like if we weren't ready for it at all. That's what that felt like to me. All right, we got Howie Potter here who says, I think LA Knight needs to move to Raw. I think a couple of people have been talking about that for a bit now, where it does feel like sometimes when you go into a new freaking brand, it feels like you're sort of refreshed in that sense. So maybe they could do something like that for him. I think a couple of people would want it. I honestly think he kind of needs it. It feels like, I don't know. It just feels like they don't want to do that much with him on SmackDown, or even if they have, it hasn't gone anywhere too far.
SmackDown's about to go to 2 hours. Get the hell out of there, LA Knight. Get over to Raw, because TV time's about to become impossible to come by on SmackDown.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm also really glad that it's going to 2 hours, though. I think we needed that. I'm sorry. Like, I don't need to be there for like a whole, 3 hours. Some show, but I won't lie, though. There were some really good shows, though. There were some good ones, but it doesn't happen every week. All right, we got SipGod305 who says Dragon Lee is punching the air right now. Yeah, what's been going on with Dragon Lee? Not much. And he had a good performance. When was it? Was it at Worlds Collide or was it before Worlds Collide? Was that Worlds Collide, right?
Yeah, he was at Worlds Collide.
Yeah, see, like he was doing good, but they're not, I don't know. You can just tell, like, they don't really got anything else for him. They just have him there. Kaden Crawford here says, love you, Denise DWO for life. Roxy looked great. Yeah, she always does. I really like her a whole lot. We got Kicking It with Leo who says, after seeing Raw tonight, I see how this Judgment Day storyline will play out. I feel like Roxanne will win this title. Liv returns and wins the Rumble. Well, so they did say she was going to be out for 7 months, Santi. That equates to around like January. I don't know if it's, start of January, end of January. But I think around Royal Rumble time, we're all going to be talking about the possibility of Liv maybe returning for the Rumble.
I genuinely see her winning the Rumble. Like, how many runner-ups has she had? And now coming back from a long injury, long hiatus. What if somehow Roxy's a world champion by then? I don't know.
Yeah, that would be great, man. But I do feel like those 7 months will fly by, though. I obviously feel horrible for Liv because she was on a roll of a lifetime. But they'll fly by, though. Pretty soon she'll be back just like that.
Good thing she did her movie filming before the injury.
I know.
Thank goodness she got that done. Yeah.
We got Steven Martrulli here who says Jade wins King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring, excuse me. Bianca helps Naomi become champ. Ooh, that could be finally the heel turn people have been waiting for Bianca. Do you still think that heel turn's happening, Santi?
No. We don't get the Bianca heel turn until she's 47, about to retire and do a retirement tour, okay?
Are we past it already? How sad. Everybody's been waiting for it to happen, though, like so much. We got JJ Castillo here who says, can we agree that CM Punk is making Cena heels run look more great? Also, his pipe bomb on Friday was pure cinema. So excited for their match on Saturday. One of the things I had said, Santi, about John Cena's pipe bomb was that I felt this was far more, aside from the heel turn at Elimination Chamber, aside from maybe one promo with Cody Rhodes, this has been the best thing that we have seen from John Cena's heel turn.
Oh, yeah, 100%. The week before, where he was in the ring with like LA Knight, CM Punk, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, I said, I'm like, oh, this is the start of the Cena retirement tour. Like, as before, because one of the things that I've been saying is that it felt like going into WrestleMania 41, even in the feud with Randy Orton, it wasn't Cena versus wrestler. It was Cena versus the fans. It's like, we suck. He broke up with us. We're toxic. Now it's Cena versus the cast of heroes trying to stop him from ruining wrestling. And that's when it's going to get good. And it started right after Money in the Bank.
Yeah, this was definitely something that we needed, dude. I was very, very impressed with what they did. The only thing I didn't like was CM Punk laying there for like 20 minutes or however long the promo was. Did you see the memes that people were making of CM Punk? They edited him with like a little blanket where he's like on the table, but he's got a little blanket and a little beanie. It was very funny. I thought that was
I've got a little blanket
hilarious
right now.
Oh, that's cute. Wait, it's all the WrestleMania logos. Oh shit. They sold that? I didn't even know they sold that.
No, this is a third-party company.
Oh, okay. No wonder. I was about to say, I didn't even know they sold that at all. That's so funny. I'm sorry, seeing you in a blanket when it's like super hot out here.
Okay, so I have central air, and
okay.
my girlfriend is somebody that hates the heat, can't stand it. So our house, even though it is a blaring heat wave right now, it is Antarctica right now. It is freezing in here, brother.
Okay, they say that you have to find somebody that has your same degree weather, because if you guys are a different degree, so you're always going to be arguing about the temperature. So what's your perfect degree?
I don't want to open up this can of worms because I'm in Celsius and you're in Fahrenheit. So like, you don't know what I'm going to say a number and you're gonna be like, what does that mean? What's the equivalent in Fahrenheit? I'm like, I don't fucking know. So let's just not even do this song and dance and move on, Denise. I already know where this is going to go.
All right, fine. Well, for me, it's 70. I think 70 is a good number.
I don't know what the fuck that means. I genuinely have no idea. What is
degrees,
that?
All right?
What is 70? What is that?
Chilly. It's like a good, it's just know it's good. It's a good number. 70. 70 is good. All
right.
right. We got Obsessive Fanboy here who says, I like Cody as much as the next person, but I really don't want him to defeat Cena. He was champion for a year. I want to see more of him without the belt. I know people feel that he's boring or whatever, but it has to end this way. I'm sorry.
Obsessive, get ready to learn the lyrics to Kingdom, brother. You know it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's inevitable.
It has to. It's just part of the story where we're at. Sin City Saint says it's become Dom's Intercontinental title run is as good as Jay's world title run. No yeet, no good. Sorry, Santi.
Wait, it's because Dom's IC title run is as good. I don't understand.
Meaning that it's not good. His IC title run is not good because he's saying
that's not his fault. It's not his fault. They're not booking him at all. He's been facing a bunch of geometric shapes, octagons, pentagons, triangles, ellipses.
They're out. That's why they haven't put him in with anybody else. They're out. Yo, but I do feel bad for Dom, though. It felt weird. I felt like they were just had to go a different direction at this point. But we got Dave Costier who says, great wrestling tonight. King of the Ring delivered. Very pleased. Cody wrestles so little now. People forget how great he is. Jay was on fire. Gunther promo, excellent. Night of Champion is loaded. P.S. I miss our girl, Iyo Santi. So I do want to talk about that. Of course, the main event, Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes. Santi, I know you liked it. I thought it was fine. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I'm like right in the neutral center for this one.
Yeah, I think I really enjoyed the last like 7 minutes of the match. I like the just finisher fest that it became. I feel like that was the way to make a match like this good. And I'm glad that that's the route that they went in. I think that that's as good a match as those two could possibly put together. I don't think that it could get much better than what we got there. I feel like they've used the correct formula to give us a good, serviceable main event. I do think it's all a bit weird that Cody basically just no-sold the super kicks into the spear and then just like got up like nothing to do the super Cody cutter from the top rope. Like I was like, okay, so all right, sure, all right, whatever. I'm a Cena fan, so I've seen this before, so I guess I can't really get mad at it. But you know, I thought it was a fun match. It was also, like Jade Cargill, predictable. Saw this coming a mile away. Who in the world, seriously, who in the world, find me that crazy psychotic person would have wanted to see Jey Uso versus Randy Orton over Cody versus Randy? What psycho, disgusting human being?
Someone who doesn't like predictability? Maybe someone who just wants like unpredictable shit all the time.
But here's the thing, Denise. Sometimes, and I live by this mantra, sometimes it's okay to allow 2 + 2 to equal 4. Sometimes you don't need 2 + 2 equals ellipses infinity to the power of 3. Just go. Sometimes the obvious is good. There's nothing wrong with obvious. You know, I would argue that there is something more wrong with unpredictability for the sake of unpredictability. If it's not good, if it's irrational, if it doesn't make sense. Cody versus Randy makes sense. Is it predictable? Yeah, but it makes sense and it's going to be good. Jay versus Randy, who the hell wanted to see that?
I don't know. I guess
no, you don't. Yes, you do.
Everyone knew that it was gonna be Cody and Randy.
Yes, but it's the correct choice. Would you really have wanted a swerve? Like, oh my god, I cannot believe they went with Jey Uso, and now you have to stomach Jey Uso versus Randy? You sit there and tell me that would have been the correct choice.
It might have been good.
You're lying to yourself. You're sitting here genuinely lying to yourself.
Look, I'm not going to shit on Randy and Jay. I think it could have been something, all right? We'll never know now until it actually happens. Watch them make this match, Santi, and it's going to be like the greatest match ever. I don't really know that for sure. By the way, we do have, hold on. Johnny O here says 70 degrees Fahrenheit is 21 Celsius.
All right, that's good. I like 21.
Okay, see, all right. See, and you were all making me sound like I was crazy for picking 70.
I just don't know what that means. You may
21 degrees Celsius.
Okay, now I know.
It's so weird, man. I'm sorry. This whole Celsius Fahrenheit thing trips me out every time. All right, we got Seth God 305 who says, Denise, you didn't even say hi to the special guest, La Yeska. I was gonna say we got La Yeska here. Ayo! Okay, by the way, I heard rumors about you, Santi.
Which one of the many?
I heard rumors about who you really are.
That I am Mr. Iguana. Listen, just because I have a La Yeska, just because my name is also Santiago, just because I'm also Latino, doesn't mean I'm Mr. Iguana.
I'm just saying, bro. Like, can you give me an interview? Because, like, come on.
Listen. All right. You're gonna have to speak to my manager about this.
Thank you, Sif God 305. All right, let me go ahead and press on. We got Goldberg. Oh, we got our Goldberg interview. Basically, he was saying Gunther disrespected him at Bad Blood, and it doesn't matter if he's 28 or 58. He's not gonna let someone embarrass him in front of his wife, his son, and his fans the way Gunther did, and that's the Goldberg interview that we got. We also got a Gunther in-ring segment that I really liked because he looked deadpan into the camera, really angry, bloodshot, red eyes, and basically said that he was gonna, he basically warned his family that he was gonna hurt Goldberg, and that's it. Like, he's never faced anybody like Gunther, according to Gunther. So,
I like the Gunther promo.
Right?
And I cannot believe I'm saying this. I really like the Goldberg interview. I thought the Goldberg interview was sick.
Sense.
And him swearing, saying that he's gonna beat the shit out of Gunther. I'm like, oh my God, I'm excited for this. How the hell is this happening? How the hell am I being won over by Gunther versus Goldberg in 2025? Because both of their segments to hype up the match, they both knocked it out of the park individually. Yeah. They both did an excellent job at getting me excited on this dead ass on arrival match that I never wanted to see for the world title, and yet here we are. I got a bit excited for it.
I liked that Goldberg's promo made sense because, hey, it doesn't matter how old you are. If you're a man, and someone messes with you, you're going to be pissed, right? It doesn't matter if the guy's younger than you and you can feel like you can kick his ass, like you can't kick his ass. Like, no, at the end of the day, you're going to want to stand up for yourself and defend yourself. That's just what you do. So I liked that that's the way that he basically said, hey, this is why I'm getting back in here, because he disrespected me and he embarrassed me. I feel everybody here can agree with that. Relatable. And would probably be doing the same thing.
Relatable, for sure.
Exactly. We got Brian Watson here who says no one's talking about Roman versus Cena for Rio GOAT. It's funny. I don't really feel like I've seen that many Roman versus Cena dream matches. I've like people mentioning it as a match they want to see. I feel like for the most part I've been seeing, Randy and Cena, which happened, CM Punk and Cena, which is about to happen. And for whatever reason, I don't think I've seen that many Roman Cena comments from people. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just that there's not that much history between them, right?
They can make history.
I mean, they have two matches, right? They have the 2017 one and then the 2021 one. I think it'd be cool if before Cena retires, we have one confrontation between those two.
All right, that's fair. Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much for setting that in. I'm cool with anything at this point. I'm just here along for the ride. Whatever happens, man. All right. Let me go ahead and let's see what else do we get. We got the Gunther segment. Oh, yeah. Becky Lynch, Bayley, Women's Intercontinental Championship. And as most of us predicted, we had Lyra come in here, cause a DQ. We were talking earlier about 2 + 2 equaling 4. I think for the most part, we all knew this is what was going to happen, Santi.
I know, but could they find a way that doesn't make Lyra look like an idiot? Like, why do it this way? I don't know.
I feel usually these types of DQ situations usually always make someone look like an idiot. And it's just happened to be that one right there for Lyra.
Yeah.
I actually felt that the crowd kind of felt dead during this match. During the first portion of this match, no one really felt like they cared about it. And I thought, damn, y'all are killing my energy going into this match. But then
I
it picked
agree.
up. It picked up. And the
Yeah, the
crowd
match
eventually
was
got into it.
fine. I think what kind of hurt this match was I really didn't like the like last like 3 minutes where they were so focused on this count out sequence when the ref wouldn't even count. Like it was just really drawn out as we waited for Lyra to come in, and it just made Lyra look dumb. I didn't think there was much to like here. I was not a fan.
Yeah, it was pretty, I just think it was very obvious of what they were trying to do, and they eventually got there, and we all knew that's what they were trying to get to, which was eventually, Lyra being the one to cause the DQ in the match. And so that's where we're at. And now we're going to wait for them to make this into an official triple threat for what we presume will be occurring at Evolution.
Yeah, the end result will be something I want to see. It's just the cooking process was a little wonky.
I think that's it, man. Right? I didn't miss anything, did I? I got the whole show here.
I think you did.
That was Monday Night Raw, ladies and gents. We did it! Woohoo!
Let's go.
I don't know why that was my reaction to that, but I'm good with it. Alrighty, guys. Well, there you go. Another Raw, another Monday locked into the books. As always, it's your girl Denise. We got Santi here. Santi, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me over at anything related to Santi Zap. I am on YouTube, Twitch. I'm on Kick now, Instagram, Twitter, all of the places you can find me.
What the hell is Kick?
It's a rival to Twitch. It's picking up some steam.
Oh, yeah. Shit. Oh, man. Oh, God.
Another
thing to get on.
Places. Another thing.
Another thing. All right. Well, anyways, as for me, @_ Denise Salcedo everywhere, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, and Facebook, and all the places, @_ Denise Salcedo. Thank you guys so much as always, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye, everyone.